The man has cut us off, but we're back.
Tried to shut down the broadcast.
They can't do it. They can't do it. All right, let's get to work.
Last point we were making before we were really cut off by the internet, just trying to keep your neck in a neutral position at all times. So as you hinge forward, try not to look up at what's in front of you. Try to keep your eyes on the implement, or keep your chin tucked. So I prefer that cue. Keep your neck in a nice, safe position. Now, once you've mastered all of that, we're going to move on to the barbell deadlift, which is the next logical step, in my opinion. So, and we're not starting from the ground. Like I said before, whenever we're learning a movement, we want to keep the range of motion relatively small because that's going to keep us safe and help us master it a little bit quicker. Still good?
Awesome. All good? Angus?
All right, cool. So, again, biggest cue with the deadlift is it's a hip hinge movement. We see a lot of people in the gym, in particular with the barbell, trying to squat their deadlifts. So we really want to warm up that hip hinge movement beforehand. Think about it, and then as we approach the bar, come right up to it until our shins are touching it, and then bend forward at the hips, hands on the bar, and then just stand tall with it. And that's as simple as it gets. Obviously you can break it down more than that, but usually for a lot of people who have sufficient flexibility, decent body awareness, that's enough to get them through the start of a deadlift.
And what we really want to focus on, guys, too, if you're going to start incorporating this, or if you've already implemented it into your routine, is we want that the barbell to be on you the whole time. If you guys were to meet a power lifter, maybe an Olympic lifter, and look at their shins are going to be skinned and scarred, because anytime we have any weight front loaded and you allow that weight to sway in front of you, you're leaving your lower back susceptible to any sort of injuries. So remember, technique's very important. You walk onto the bar, you stay close, and don't allow that bar to sway in front of you. So you want to drag it up all the way through the eccentric lift and all the way down back to the concentric.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because especially with any object, it's going to get increasingly heavier the further away from our body it gets. So the closer we can keep things to ourselves, the lighter and more in control of the weight we're going to be. And to illustrate that point as well, what Johnny is saying is, especially on the way down in a deadlift, if we do let the bar get away from us, it's gonna, as it pulls away from us, it's gonna put force through our lower back, make it all angry again. So that's another reason why we want to keep it nice and close on the way down.
You got scarred shins, right? Yeah, but the boys, you got your shoes on?
We wear knee sleeves.
Yeah, so the boys wear knee sleeves. Lord Davis, Youngstown, Ohio. What's up, Coach Thorne?
So if you are someone who doesn't like getting your shins all scraped up, feel free to get yourself some knee sleeves and just wear those around your shins, because they're about 7 millimeters of neoprene, and that's more than enough to keep your shins safe, but also not so big of an obstruction that's going to push the bar too far away from your body.
And then, guys, this is an awesome opportunity for you. If you have any questions on progressions of the deadlift, regressions, any sort of dumbbell, kettlebell variations, hit us up, man. You know, that's what we're here for. Yeah, now is the time. So, Fancy Pants, Claudia. No angry back, fancy. Actually, I'm rocking them. You know, I got the tight. Shout out. Yes, sir.
So now we're just going to cover a couple of little mistakes that we commonly see with the barbell deadlift, and one of the first ones is on the way down. A lot of people really have trouble with the deadlift going back down the same way they came up, because it is a little bit counterintuitive, but not if you get back to that hip hinge train of thought. So once we've stood up with the barbell and we're in our lockout position, what we see is a lot of people unlocking their hips and the knees at the same time, and what happens is the bar again slides out away from us, which we know is a bad thing. So one of the ways we can keep the barbell close to us the whole way down is by unlocking at the hips first. Once the barbell's at our knees, then we can let the knees travel forward, but making sure it's hips then knees, and that's going to make sure that the bar can go down nice and straight.
And to simplify that, basically keep telling yourself you're picking something off the ground, you're putting it down. Hip flexion first, then knees. So I have a lot of clients, whether you struggle getting the bar off, Kim, you can't believe. Kim, you gotta start believing in magic. We believe in it, so you can do whatever you want. So hip flexion, then knees, and that's gonna allow the bar to travel over the knees at the appropriate amount of time, so you're not banging your knees. So it's hip flexion, then knee flexion, and then it becomes a timing and tempo sort of thing.
Yes, that's another common mistake we see. A lot of people, because they think of, they're trying to develop power and strength in a deadlift, they try to yank it off the ground, and especially inexperienced people, when they do this, they end up pulling themselves out of position. So you never want to hear any sort of rattling noise when you're picking the barbell up off the ground. It should be nice and silent. Make sure you take the slack out of the bar, put some tension on it, and then break it off the ground. Don't just yank it off the ground, because That's what's going to, again...
And look at his
put
back.
more
Look at his
force through
back.
your It'll make it harder to maintain positions, especially as a beginner. Be nice and patient off the floor.
Patient, don't be in a rush. And guys, this game is all about longevity. Who cares how much weight you put on that bar? You want to be technical first, and then you can worry about strength. If you have any questions about this, and you don't live in Sydney, and you haven't contacted us, hire a damn coach. Dee Banks, she's like my second mom. That's Banks' mom. Dr. Banks. Yeah, Matt and Dee, those are like my family. Appreciate you guys, love you guys, miss you. But yeah, it's a very technical lift. We don't expect you, if you've never done this lift, to just see what Angus and I are doing and then be able to perfect it. That's not what we're saying here. We're saying if you're already doing it, maybe some technical standpoints that we've covered, you could add into your repertoire. But if you've never done it, hire this guy.
Or start small. Like if you don't have access to a good coach, or you don't know where to go for help, just keep yourself safe, use a small range of motion, a small amount of weight, and you can't mess yourself up too bad as long as you follow these rules. There's one more aspect I want to go over with you guys, and that's one of the things where an issue that I think a lot of people commonly misdiagnose in the deadlift, and that is when they see their lumbar rounding off the ground.
Let's see that lumbar.
So if people get in a nice safe position to deadlift, and then as soon as they break it off the floor, first thing that happens is their lumbar bends. And a lot of people assume that this is a weakness in the back because of its inability to maintain its position, when the reality is a lot of it is actually your hamstrings being weak and not feeling comfortable under tension in a lengthened position, so that way your hips shoot closer to the bar to reduce the amount of torque that they have to produce to extend the hip properly. So whenever you do see that lumbar sort of tucking under off the floor, just remember it's more than likely a hamstring issue because they don't want to stay long under tension. So always supplement your deadlift with a healthy amount of hamstring work.
See, it's really unreasonable for us to even cover how many technical standpoints there are in this lift, because we could go everything from body positioning in the concentric to our elbow flexion. I see another big mistake when people are at the bar and they're trying to psych themselves up, and you see disengage. You want your arms to be locked. You don't want to disengage, because if you get a habit of bending the elbow and pulling, you'll get in a habit of pulling at the bar with your upper body rather than pulling from the hips. And that's
also risk of bicep tear.
Risk
all the time
of bicep tear. We really want to understand that what this lift is mimicking is picking something off the ground and putting it down. The arms are literally there just to guide and hold the bar. We're pulling our strength from our hammies, quads, glutes, and lower back.
I think that's it for today.
Look how good this kid looks, man. Oh, let's see the ab game.
Ab
game is strong.
Skinny, so I have to have abs.
Yeah, man. Other than that, any questions, you send me either Angus or myself.
Let us know what exercises you want to cover next. I think we'll look over some squat stuff.
I was thinking we could spar too. So Gus and I, he's belted, he's a white belt, and we could go Facebook Live with that. If you want to see it, share this. Guys, on a serious note, any other questions on technique or any sort of lifts that you have questions on, hit us up. Another shout out to Claudia. This was inspired through her question. To get this message across more people, we would love for you to like and share this, and follow this guy, follow his show. I appreciate you guys.
Catch us later.
Peace. Love.